that suffered after turning against India. India foreign relations. Several countries are said to be facing serious problems after creating hostility toward India. What have they gained by opposing India? Let's take a closer look. Pakistan is described as a failed and struggling state. It is seen as bankrupt, unsafe, troubled by terrorism and violence, and suffering from food shortages and insecurity. Its relations with neighboring countries are not good, and it often has to seek financial help from others. Turkey is also said to be going through a severe crisis. In many areas, it is facing difficulties, including economic and food-related problems. Even with support from the European Union, it is claimed that Turkey cannot easily engage in trade with India. Egypt is described as being in a similar situation, struggling with debt and financial pressure. Iran once had good relations with India, but after sanctions imposed by Donald Trump, India had to step back from projects like the Chabahar port and reduce trade activities there. Ukraine is mentioned in the context of the Russia conflict, where India is seen as an important global player. Bangladesh's current interim government is described as facing serious internal challenges. China is said to have realized the importance of stable ties with India and has reduced tensions. Afghanistan, after initial misunderstandings, is now moving closer to India. Nepal and the Maldives, after political tensions, have also adjusted their positions. Saudi Arabia and Azerbaijan are mentioned as facing regional and strategic pressures after attempting alliances that excluded India. On the other hand, countries that maintain good relations with India are described as economically, politically, and culturally stable. The overall message is that hostility toward India leads to economic hardship, loss of global respect, and internal instability, while cooperation brings stability and growth. The advice given is to think carefully before creating conflict. Countries opposing India. May Sri Rama Krishna bless everyone with health and well-being. Countries suffering due to enmity with India. Several countries are suffering because of their enmity with India. What has anyone gained by being an enemy of India? Let's find out. By being an enemy of India, Pakistan has become a failed and incompetent nation. This means they are bankrupt, helpless, and beggars. They have become a breeding ground for insecurity, militancy, terrorism, and murder, leading to a total lack of safety in life. They have faced every possible negative situation, including food crises. Their relationship with their neighbors is not good. They don't have good relations with any country. They have to live by begging from others. This is what Pakistan has gained. Second is Turkey. Turkey's situation is now extremely critical. Crisis begins for Turkey in every field they touch. They are now helpless, poor, and suffering from food shortages. While India will trade with the European Union, Turkey will not be able to trade with India even with the EU's help. They are suffering from food crisis. Despite repeated requests for food, India is not supplying them with food grains. Remember when they sent back a wheat ship claiming the wheat was diseased? Now, instead of the wheat being diseased, hunger is nesting in their own bodies. Egypt is in the same state. Egypt has essentially embraced bankruptcy. They can no longer function even with subsidies and loans. They don't even have the money to buy wheat or food products from developed countries. They are buried under so much debt. Regarding Iran, India's relations were actually good. However, because of the dominance and sanctions Donald Trump imposed on Iran one after another, India had to withdraw there. India had to leave the Chabahar port and move its business elsewhere. Look at Ukraine. One of the major strengths behind the pride Russia is showing toward Ukraine is India. Now look at Bangladesh. It seems the current interim government of Bangladesh has left behind an environment and situation that has thrown the country into great distress. It feels like they are overwhelmed by a terrible mess. China has now largely understood this, which is why China no longer behaves stubbornly with India. Next is Afghanistan. They didn't understand it first, but having realized it recently, they are now turning toward India. Then there is Nepal, which acted a bit stubborn. Because of that stubbornness, their government lost power, and now they are back on track. Maldives also acted stubborn and showed enmity. After being punished, Maldives has fallen into line. Alongside them are Bhutan and Bangladesh. You have seen what they have done recently. Additionally, any country in the world that has tried to be stubborn with India has faced consequences. Recently, Saudi Arabia has been going through a period of danger or trouble. This is because they wanted to form an Islamic NATO alliance with Pakistan. Furthermore, India has kept Azerbaijan cornered from all sides. Azerbaijan wanted to create trouble alongside Turkey, Pakistan, and Saudi Arabia. Using Greece and other countries in that region, India has tightened the pressure on Azerbaijan so much that they are now crossing the danger line. It can be seen that the countries currently enjoying good times economically, politically, and culturally are the ones that have good relations with India. Conversely, look at the countries where there is discomfort, unrest, and misery. They all have enmity with India. The results of enmity with India are staying hungry, facing famine, falling into danger, being overwhelmed by problems, and losing your status in the world one by one. China has realized this, which is why they don't cause trouble anymore. Recently, Malaysia has improved its relations with India. Relations with Middle Eastern countries were already good. Today, the EU, United Arab Emirates, and the GCC have further improved their relations. Regardless of how things were before, they are better now. Whoever acts stubborn or creates problems ends up in danger. This is why I say, think twice before showing enmity, otherwise there will be no limit to your troubles. May Sri Ramakrishna keep everyone well and healthy.